Welcome to my humble little office. My name is R. Keith Andrews. I'm a spiritual guide and paranormal adept. The journey continues today on June 13th, 2023 at approximately 4:21 p.m. PST. Now, I've returned to this world for one primary purpose, and that is to remind people that working together, we can make this a better world for virtually everybody. Now, I build myself as a spiritual guide because the tools I offer are the exact same tools I personally use in my own day-to-day life, and the philosophies of life I talk about are the ones that I personally live my life by. So this is not a question of here's an idea that may work for you. These are ideas that, number one, I personally use, and number two, I have literally shared with thousands of other people way before I even came online here. Okay, now with that in mind, we have Shadow and Sun coming into the house with the gold, and Amitonga is in with the silver. Now, I decided to look at this. Time to take control of your life now. Now, to be honest, who do we got here? Jimmy Casino is now in. Okay, and he comes in. Jimmy, you come in with the bronze. Now, I gave you guys a challenge a week on last Monday to come up with a goal that you yourself desire to change in your life. Now, I've come across a couple of things that are really neat on my end, and things that, like I said, I was going to be playing and doing the exact same thing. To that end, okay, I've already got, now, okay, we'll back that up half a second. Okay, this neat little thing. This is my database. Okay, this is the one database, the one type of database that nobody can hack. Yes, you can break into my house, you can steal the thing, and then try and understand shorthand. Be my guest. No, don't. Okay. But with that in mind, I've already started doing that. I'm already starting to collect names from people that desire to get the newsletter. And like I said, the newsletter that's coming out is only going on direct request. Okay, that's the way that goes. Okay, the fact that you may have bought one of my books. If you have, okay, now by default, I will likely just add what I'm thinking is I've already got the book. Okay, you've already bought the book. Unless you have an objection to it, okay, I will send out a simple request. In your guys' case, if you've already bought a book from me, okay, I will send a copy of the new newsletter coming out with the option of just dropping me a line and saying I don't desire the newsletter. At which point, I'll remove you from the list. It's that simple. Now, understand, I do things in a very old-fashioned method, which is why my database is on cardstock. Okay, and it's just done that way. Okay, now, with that in mind, if you look below this video, you'll find I now have 8 books listed, not 7, because the 8th one is coming out within the next couple of days. Okay, that is the easy part of it. Okay, so how do we go about reclaiming power over your life? This isn't what's best for me, it's what's best for you. As in, if you're content with your life the way it is, you've already got power over it. You've already accomplished that. Sit back, relax, enjoy the ride. If there's even one thing that you're not content with, this is where we start changing it. Now, with that in mind, okay, and that reminds me, I have to send a quick email back. Yes, I'm on. Welcome to live stream. I never edit this at all. Okay, people have told me I should edit it, and I'm like, no, they call it live for a reason. Okay, it's, in my opinion, it's called live video, live streaming, meaning I don't edit anything, and I don't fault people that do. I mean, there's 2 reasons for it. One, I can't be bothered. And 2, I haven't got a clue how to do it anyway. But before I go anywhere here, Shadow is in the house, and this is, where are we? Copy. This is the link to Shadow Stream. Okay, so absolutely, when you get a chance, drop by, listen to what he has to say. He's got some really neat ideas. So listen to what he has to say. If you like what he says, give him a thumbs up. Okay, and absolutely subscribe to his channel and then share the daylights out of it. This is my way, because Shadow has been there really since just about the beginning, maybe the beginning, I don't know. Okay, but he has been here, and he's always, he's always very encouraging when I do talk to him. This is my way of saying thank you. Okay, so with that in mind, where are we here? Take that and we go tickety. If you do like the stream, do give us a thumbs up. It seems to have some bearing on the algorithm that YouTube uses. Okay, it is time to make your life better for you. Okay, not for me. Although, in all fairness, if my helping you make your life better, if I find that that's what's happening, that will certainly help me feel better about what I'm doing. Okay, now, if you haven't already, do please subscribe to the channel and then share the daylights out of it, even if you share it with people you don't like. Okay, because honestly, I know I make every single person I ever meet happy. Some people by showing up, most of them by leaving. Okay, I can give you a whole list of flaws that I've got, because I am by no functional means perfect. Okay, I do have a very big vision in my mind. Okay, and today I am very pleased to let you know that I have now worked out the algorithm that I require to set up to publish other people's work. So I still have to track down a lawyer to make everything right, royally proper. But the reality of it is, even without a lawyer, if a paper is signed that says this is the deal, okay, and it's signed by both parties with a witness, okay, then you're not dealing with a problem. Okay. Now, fortunately, I happen to be what people have referred to as a gentleman contractor, meaning I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it. Which does remind me, I have to look for something here. Let us see. I have to go back and look at something from a long time ago. But it is really time to take a look in the mirror and go, are you content? Okay. There's one thing I'm not content with. You guys don't actually require this door open. See, that neat little door is to my bathroom, but I don't think you really need to see what's in there. I'm pretty sure you've already seen a bathroom. If not, I'd love to know how you're functioning. No, maybe I wouldn't. Okay, so I have here. Oh, yes. This neat little thing, what year was it? Age 10. This was 7 years ago. This was made by my son in art class one day. Okay, he did all the artwork. He did the laminating. He had help, absolutely. Okay, but he was 10 years old when he made it. So needless to say, this coffee cup isn't going very far. That's from my youngest son. This one was made by my eldest when he was in grade 2. So this one is about 18 years old. Okay. Yes, like a lot of parents, I keep stuff that my kids make. Except their paychecks. Those they keep. But I'm looking at the world right now going, okay, we have a choice. As individuals or as a society, we can look at the world and go, this is where we're standing. Nina, how you doing? Glad you could join us. You are in with honorable mention, as in you are the fourth one into the chat room today. Now, I'm quite happy with the fact that my 8th book is coming out. I now am happy to also do one more thing. I figured out an algorithm, and I just got to get things worked out on paper now just to make sure I get it worded right, whereby I am almost in a position where I can take your books and turn them and publish them in a solid form. Okay. This is one of those things that I am aiming to do because I've run into so many publishing companies that literally have shafted me royally. Okay. I've heard horror stories where somebody will go, here's my manuscript. This is what I would like to have published. And a so-called editor will turn around and butcher the daylights out of it, change the wording, change the order of things. Okay, I can tell you horror stories. Or they'll go, oh, this isn't good enough to publish. I'm not doing it. One thing I will not do is I will not tell somebody it's not good enough to publish. I may go, no, I've looked at the manuscript. I'm not publishing it, period. Now, the good news there is I'm the only one that has to decide whether it's good enough to publish. I just talked to my editor, the one I personally use as well, and she's agreed to take on the extra work. She's given me a price, and I'll worry about that when I get requests to deal with it. Okay. So I'm looking at the whole 9 yards here going, how am I going to make this happen? Now, the neat part here is I am right now filling out my database because we've already got a request to be on the list for the email newsletter. Okay. So from my end, it really boils down to making sure I write it down in order to get things moving in the right way. Now, I am not about to tell you I am perfect. Matter of fact, I'll tell you a lot of things, and that ain't one of them. But if you desire your life to start evolving, okay, I decided I was I was going to push the business. Okay, I was going to push my life into overdrive. Net result, I've got books coming out that have already got pre-orders for them, which is a really neat setup. And I would love to be able to tell you, look, if you pre-order, I'll give you a cut deal. I put it at bottom price so I can make sure I can keep doing it. Derek, how you doing? Glad you could join us. The nice part about the whole 9 yards is when I go, this is the way my life is going to go. I've come to the conclusion that there's only one way that happens. You decide your life is going to change path. You got to get off your tail feathers to make it happen. Okay, that's just the reality behind it. So what I'm doing here, now this will give you an idea as soon as I get this part done. There we go. I'll have to copy that down afterwards, but that's okay. Oh. Derek, I have no problem with that at all. If you've got if you've got my contact info, absolutely drop me a line. Okay. Whether it is like I work myself with Yahoo Messenger, with Skype, with those are the two primary ones. LinkedIn has one I've used once. As far as the other programs that are not Yahoo Messenger or Skype, in answer to anybody's question, no, I do not install new programs. Okay, I stick with the ones that I know work because of the fact that they do work for me. And we have Gordana that has shown up. How we doing, Gordana? Welcome aboard. Glad you could join us. You know, the nice part about what I'm looking at is, yes, I'm telling you, you can have your life back in your control. You can do things that you are not aware of, okay, or that you may not realize. I will warn you, you have one of two choices. You can look at your life and go, life is miserable. Or you can look at life and go, life is fantastic. Yes, there are hiccups that everybody goes through. Okay, I keep having this one little flaw. I keep waking up in the morning. Okay, don't know if that's a flaw yet. You get to decide on that one. Okay, but what I do know is that I've decided dying is easy. I've done it often enough. Living is a challenge. Okay, like I was sitting down. I went out to lunch today, and I was sitting down at lunch. In the hour I was there, I wrote 4 pages into the Return to Paradise. If there's a section I was having trouble with, I broke that problem. Tonight, when I get done this stream, I will go in and finish that writing. Now, where are we here? I've got to go into this because way back here, what do we got? The Echo Alpha. Okay, Echo Alpha, go for Alpha. So, and the thing is, I could put this off and wait until afterwards. I'm thinking it's live. When I said that I do things, when they're ready to be done, I wasn't actually kidding. Okay, so we have Hotel Alpha. By the way, what I'm saying there, Hotel Alpha is an account name, or is an account number rather, so that I can actually follow, like keep tabs on where things are supposed to go. And there we go. And there we are. So now we go back into here. Echo Alpha. Well, oh, well, we screwed that up something royally. Echo Alpha, that's Foxtrot Alpha. Okay, we'll just rewrite those, because I'm not going to be able to read them if I don't. So that's okay. Now let's get started at the beginning. Okay. Number one, I know what I'm up to. I know exactly what I'm doing right now. I got my 8th book coming out within the next couple of days. Okay. I've already sold a number of them, and they will, as soon as they come to print, they will be going. Okay. I've already got my office sorted out, so I'm quite content with the way that is. Now, this little book here, which is actually sitting in my way in a sense, I require that one and a C here. We can take that, put that there, that's no problem. And that solves that. Now, take a look at where your life is. Okay. Are you content? That's the first question you ask. Okay. If the answer is yes, rest assured you're not looking very far. In other words, you don't have a lot that you have to correct because you're already content with it. So from my end, it was a simple issue of not happy with the way it is. Time to start changing it. I took a look at a lot of things, not the least of which is an issue, of I'm looking at the world going, so many people are sitting here going, the world is going to end. And it is. Absolutely, it will end in about 5 trillion years, or give or take. I'm betting dollars to donuts it's not going to be a big issue for you. I was asked the other day, is God going to come down and straighten this out? Or, is he going to come down and cleanse the world? The answer is no. Where are we? Gordana is just adding here. I did 3 pages of writing, poetry, and got front wheel alignment done in the morning. Yesterday, I had given gratitude to bees, bumblebees, wild roses, their smell, trees, lake, sky, birds. Absolutely fantastic. The more grateful we are, the easier things will do. Joe is asking, hi, Arkeith. Right off the bat, have you ever been banned from YouTube, just in case? The answer to that question, Joe, the answer is no. I had my hand slapped once because I made a comment. I don't even know what the comment was, but I made a comment that I'm sure had to do with the COVID situation. Okay, I got a warning where YouTube sent me a line and said, look, this is your first warning, so we're not going to block you or anything. We're not going to ban you. We're just going to say, pay attention. Since then, I have refused to put my opinions regarding specific politicians, specific designs that the government has put out, specific religions. I will talk to anybody about these face to face, not on YouTube. Okay. Now, where are we here? So, that's the ultimate answer there. Okay. Have I ever been banned? No. I've never even been blocked, which, quite frankly, I'm very grateful for. YouTube has its own rules, and this is one of the reasons why I stand my ground on things. Okay. Derek goes, let me talk to you. Yeah, let me talk to you. Is a famous catchphrase by LA Knight WWE professional wrestler. Okay, well, don't take this the wrong way, Derek. I have no doubt it is. In all fairness, I haven't watched WWE much in the last 10 years. Okay, so I don't know who he is personally. Gordana, you are absolutely correct. Okay, Gordana is just saying algorithms. We have to use the language of love, which absolutely, karmic law is cut and dried. Do unto others as you desire them to do unto you. And this is why, as we ran into a problem a little while ago, somebody came in and started posting and trying to post links. Okay. And as was pointed out very politely by by a number of members of the chat room and some of my moderators, okay, posting links is not acceptable unless you have to be myself or one of my moderators. And fortunately, even my moderators have a tendency of checking with me if it's okay. Skip to Malou, how you doing? How you doing? Glad you could join us. The reality is, I would love to see this chat room grow to a staggering level. Okay, I know there are YouTubers out there or videographers out there, okay, that are followed by thousands of people. That'd be fantastic. I'll settle for hitting 1,000 to start with as just a simple guideline right now. Skip to Melody, you're absolutely correct. Now, as I was saying a little earlier and then got myself sidetracked, I did figure out an algorithm whereby I will be able to, at this point, take a look at somebody. If you've got a book, if you've got a poem, okay, if you've got something you desire in print, okay, I am now in a position because I worked out a price line for it that I'm content with. Okay. Yes, absolutely, I did, Derek. I actually watched it from way back in. We have to go back to the '70s to All Star Wrestling with Bulldog Brown and Gene Kiniski, and then I watched it through the years. I went right through the Undertaker era, went right through the John Cena era. Okay, and then about I don't know about 10 years ago, I canceled cable. And it's only been in the last couple of months that I can watch it, that we even get it at all. So that's just where that is. The neat part about it from my end is it's a very simple philosophy for me. I've pulled away from a lot of people for a lot of reasons. Okay, but I figure we've got people that will stand in front of a pulpit or in front of a video, and they'll go, "The world is ending. We're all going to die. We're going to suffer massive famine. There are all these earmarks. There are all these more forecasts, all these markers that were foretold centuries ago." Okay, and here's the thing: we also have YouTubers that have thousands of people that will follow them and watch them play a game. Okay. That is the choice. You only have two. Fear, either you can fear things or you can love them. Now, I came to a conclusion a long time ago. The human race, on the whole, follows a very simple philosophy. Fear that which you do not understand. Fear that which you cannot control. That which you cannot control, strive to destroy. That which you cannot destroy, strive to. Well, try that again. That which you do not understand, fear. That which you fear, strive to control. That which you cannot control, strive to destroy. And that which you cannot destroy, fear. Okay. Now, I don't know about you, but from my standpoint, I'm done with the fear. Okay. Now, I've never, even according to my father, I've never feared the metaphysical world. Okay. I don't fear people. I don't get along with them well, so I don't go out much. Okay. Which is a little overstated. I spend way too much time at one restaurant where I do 90% of my hard copy writing. Okay. Then I come home and put it to paper. The nice part about it is now that I'm standing in the position I'm in, I was talking to my printer today, and I gave her the new work I am required. And she goes, "Look, if you know what the other books coming out are, give me the names of the books, because I've got a series coming out." Well, they're coming out very quickly. Okay. She said, "If you already know what the titles are, give me the titles, and I will work out the pictures for them and just keep them in your file." Okay. I like it the way it's put in North American Indian language. And not the language. I am speaking English because I don't know their language. Okay. Everybody has two wolves in their body. Fear and love. They are constantly fighting each other. Which one's going to win is whichever one you feed. Okay. That's the way the world works. Not by dictates of those that you have given the name of elite. We talked about that the other day. Okay. Now, yes, I'm going to get up and walk around on occasion because, well, that's me. I require these so I can actually do them properly. Because I just screwed up the other ones and cannot afford to do that. So, now the neat part about it, well, Ultimately, yes. You're absolutely right there, Skip. Skip to my Lou says, feed your heart. Do not feed fear, feed your heart. Like heart chambers. This is very much the case. I find it rather interesting when you find this out. Okay. A human heart has 4 chambers. Okay. So does your life. Okay. And I know some of you have seen this. Some of you actually work with it. This funny thing here. Okay, some of you definitely recognize this. But if you look at it, it's separated into 12 equal houses. Okay. Now this is the way your life also works, by the way. This house is your personal house. That's you. Okay. And your life, if you want to look at how to regain power over your own life, take a look at these 12 houses, at these sectors I'm about to discuss. There are 4 parts of your life that must be kept in balance. Now, clearly, because the average workday is 8 hours long, breaking a 24-hour day into 4 parts would mean 6 hours a day. Well, there are very few jobs in this world that are only a 6-hour a day job. And certainly not that many that are 7 days a week. So we take a look at this. The first quarter is these 4 or these 3. This is your personal house. This is you personally. Okay. You spend, and by the way, 6 hours a day translates into 42 hours a week. Okay. Now this is an average. So you've got this house that is in this quadrant that is your personal time. That's for your hobbies, whatever you do and whatever you enjoy, whatever you do on your own. That's what you're focusing on. Then you've got your interpersonal, which is when we're talking interpersonal, we are talking about co-workers, friends, time with that special someone, time with those loved ones, time with strangers. Okay, this is where you spend another 42 hours of your week. Okay, then you've got this quadrant. This is your business quadrant, where you generate money or you work on something in order to be able to, such as your education. You spend this time working on that in order to get your job, in order to get your income, your livelihood. Okay, now this quadrant here, okay, is more on a global side, but with that in mind, that's not what I'm talking about here where it comes to your life. This extra 6 hours a night, okay, or a 24-hour period. This is the time you sleep. That is the one. That is the part that most people overlook. Okay, now it's up to you in all counts. Are you going to look at the positive side? Are you going to look at the positive side or are you going to look at the negative? And I'm going to drop something directly into your lap, Gordana. Just a curiosity thing, and do understand, everybody I have asked, that everybody I talk to that tells me they believe in God. Well, I won't argue that. They are known by many names. But let me ask you this, guys. I've had this conversation with all kinds of people from all religions. Do you believe whoever you call your creator, whoever you call God by whatever name, do you believe they created everything? Okay. Now, I will tell you, in my eyes, absolutely. Yeah, there are so many different names that it can be used by. And, the reality is, whatever you desire, go right ahead. Okay. Now, the second part of that question is your creator that created everything. Do you believe they created fear? Now, do understand, I'm a very firm believer. Okay. I'm a very firm believer that my creator created everything, and that includes fear. Okay. You know, and this is a thing to keep in mind. Okay, now from my standpoint, I've always told absolutely, it's phenomenal. Like I've talked myself, I've had a direct conversation with them, and I'm going to use the term man because I'm too lazy to specify all the options. Okay. But as individuals, we have a choice. Okay. Are you in this world for what it can give you or for what you can give it? Are you gauging whether you're successful on the sides of your pocketbook or the impact you're having on the people around you? You know, these are the things we have to look at. Skip to my little goes, what is God? If God is no good, what if God, if human is no good, start from the bottom, be that person. Essentially, yes. Derek, I didn't watch his show, so I cannot give you feedback on that at all. Well, I just gave you feedback. I didn't watch his show. Okay, the reality of it is this: I decided to look in the mirror and go, you know, I looked in the mirror and went, I've stayed away from people for a very long time, and it's taken an extremely long time. How we doing, Terry? Glad you could join us. You know, it took a very long time for a lot of people on Space Out Radio to really push, and I'm certain it was because of that, to really get me in front of the video at all. At this point, I'm looking at it going, it's time to make it and make an impact. You know, it really is that simple. Okay. So now we're looking at it going, how do we make that happen? You know, if you're content with your life, things are going fine. Okay. You'll like this one where are we here? Just lost the name. Shadow, I'm sure you'll like this one. I spent this morning on organizing my figures. Okay, the little guys that I paint, and I gotta get back to that. But I spent this morning organizing them and getting them sorted so I could find them. So I knew which ones were which. Okay, so here's what you look at. If you're content with your life, then this is great. I will tell you, and I'm going to go back to the astrology thing here for a moment, because so many people want to pay attention to astrology. So I'm going to put a kink in things. Okay, I'm going to put a kink in things. When you're looking at astrology, remember two major factors. You can either see the good, you can see the good, or you can see the bad, or you can choose to see both. But I'm encouraging you to find the good things in astrology and focus on those as a starting point. Now, when I was learning astrology, I was told point blank that a natal chart, the chart that shows where all the planets are when you were born, is essentially a report card from your last life. It tells you what strengths and weaknesses you were born with, not what your potential is. Your potential is literally what you can make it. Okay. Now, have you ever heard the term too much of a good thing? Okay. I know people that literally they will look at the astrology book and they will go, okay, here's where the negatives are, and I'm not doing this because I'm afraid of what that's going to do. Understand, a negative warning is simply a heads up. Skip the Maloo's going, 6066 license plate. Now, the neat thing there, now get this, and I don't know where it says it. Okay, but I'm going to take that 666 that you're pointing out. I'm going to explain something to you. Okay, way back. Okay, somewhere in the Bible is where it's listed. I don't know how to track it down. I'm not overly concerned on how to track it down. But the number of the beast that everybody says is 666. They've left a word out. The number is 666 inverted, not 666. Okay, and the difference there is this. 6 is the number of community. Okay, 9 is the number of discrimination. Okay, now if you're looking at discrimination and you're focusing on the negative side of it, you're pretty much hooped. You know, I gave up trying, I'm still in the process of reading the Bible. Okay, I will tell you this though. The world is what you make it. The Bible is absolutely a great thing, don't get me wrong. But understand, what you have today, where you are right now, however you got there, this is the important factor. Okay, one of the topics I'm not getting into, and like I said, I got an interesting warning by YouTube. I'm not about to push that issue. But, however you got to where you are, okay, I actually thought there were 3. But that being said, however you got to where you are, whatever your belief is, you are in the same place as everybody else in existence. You're right here, right now. And this is the time to take your life into your own hands, your prosperity into your own hands. Give credit to who you will. Personally, I look at it and go, I take encouragement from those that offer it. Okay. The ones that tell me I can't do something, I just tell them, don't tell me what I can't do. Okay. The last thing I need to know is what I'm not able to do. I figure after the doctors diagnosed me dead and shipped me off to the morgue, I gave up on what was impossible. So, I look at it this way. I decided, I've looked at all these massive publishing companies. Every single one of the ones I've talked to has shafted me, as in they did not do what they claimed they were going to. So I just looked at it and went, no, I'm going to take my company, which is already geared up for publishing. We are already laid out to be able to do that. And I finally decided it's time to make it happen. So this is what I'm doing. Okay. And now it's just a case of making certain I follow through with that. You know, the neat part about it from your standpoint is it's time for you to take a look at it and go, how am I going to take my life and change it? Yeah. The nice part there, Gordana, you absolutely can. Okay. All of the books that I'm putting in, all 8 of the books I put out. Give me 10 seconds to call that up. Derek's asking, what is the first main topic of your newsletter? Give me half a second, because I've got it actually up. I just need to get to it. There we are. Now, let's get that out of the way so I can still see what's going on. Okay. The first topic that I've gotten, these are going to be short topics. Okay, to start with. Because right now, I am starting out with just a small amount of information. Okay, but the first topic I'm going to be dealing with is literally titled Putting the Past to Rest. What are the possibilities now? Okay, we're starting over. Okay, we are right here. Like, today is the first day of the rest of your life. And tomorrow morning, it'll happen again. This will be going to print on the, it will be going to print ready for the 17th. I will tell you, I won't be mailing it. I will not be mailing it until the 19th because it's really kind of funny. But, the post office isn't open on a Sunday. So I don't do it that way. However, whether you desire a email copy or a solid mail copy, snail mail, paper, doesn't matter. Either way, I will not charge for it because it's what I'm billing as that's my advertising budget. Now, here's the neat part about it. Okay, people talk about profit. It's a great idea. Okay, so here's what I went and did. I took a look at my net profit and figured out how to break it down where 100% of my net profit is actually going to be handled. It's going to be shared to the point where I don't have to alter the ratio even after I'm making $1 billion a month. In other words, I'm not shooting for small products, for a small ceiling here. Okay, I decided ultimately, yes. And Nina's just saying here, you must unlearn what you have learned. Yoda. Gordana said, find someone with a lot of Miss Prissy Virgo planets. The funny thing is, Virgo is an incredible planet, but there are some hiccups. Okay. And one of the things I will point out at one point in the future, I will be pointing out some of the flaws that modern astrology has. Much like I'm about to in this particular newsletter, I will be pointing out some of the flaws that oh, I see what you're getting at there, Gordana. Give me half a second. Where are we? Not that one, this one. Gotta take a look. Just because I'm curious at this point. Okay. Would be nice if I could see with my glasses on up close, but it doesn't work that way. Now, I will tell you, I've already found an editor that I have never seen someone this good. Okay. But I'm just curious, and no, I'm not going to tell you what the birthday is. But, where are we here? I don't need that month, I need this one. Okay. We have, what's the 8th? Okay. The ironic part of it is my editor has no Virgo, but boy, are they picky and absolutely spot on the money. Okay, they do, however, have, let's see, what do we got here? A lot of Aries and a whole pile of Earth. So they've got a chunk of fire and a whole whack of Earth. So, but fire and Earth, by the way, is the exact same way that Mother Nature reproduces. You got to remember, Virgo is only 1/12 of the equation. Thank you so much, Gordana. And do say hello to Ken for us, please. But yeah, I found an editor. I will not replace them unless they decide they're going to go away. Right? Because I've never seen someone this picky. I haven't pulled the chart apart. Shadow, thank you so much for joining in. I do appreciate it. And I think I've still got this sitting here. And again, guys, Shadow's going to be on for a bit. I'm not sure how long, but there's his channel if you decide to check him out. Okay. Uh-oh. Hope that means it's just out of power there, Gordana. But no, I have found I will be putting in one of the newsletters, I will break down where I found critical flaws in astrology. I'm not going to be doing a whole big chunk on it. The idea is to get people to think about options. Okay. Oh, there we go. And Derek's going, hockey game. 5 Vegas Knights versus. Well, I gotta ask, since you're dropping in my lap, and do be clear about this. The hockey score to me doesn't make a whole lot of difference. Ozzy, how you doing? Glad you could join us. But what is the score right now there, Derek? Because there are people here that may well desire to know. Me, I figure if one team gets 1 point above the other, 1 goal more than the other team, it was a good game. Somebody won. But what I'm looking at is you take your life, you take into consideration, are you content with your life? Okay. Are you happy with what you're dealing with? In my case, I worked it out. I've actually got 23 books I'm simultaneously writing. Okay. I'm very content with that. Okay. There we go. Derek's going, the Stanley Cup Finals, Game 5, just started. If Vegas Knights win tonight, they win the Stanley Cup. Well, now, what are we after? We are after, I know you just said it, Vegas Knights versus the Florida Panthers. I know that just will upset my ex to no end, because she is a diehard, well, she calls herself a diehard Canucks fan. Myself, I think I could care less about hockey, but probably not much. Now, the sad part is that makes me a complete anomaly in Canada, because hockey has never driven my attention. Okay, when I was growing up, there was an old saying, I went to a fight and a hockey game broke out. Didn't do much for me. Las Vegas, how you doing? Glad you could join us. Now, I don't have, the reason I don't talk hockey, like Dave will talk about it, but Dave is a hockey fan. Okay. Myself, not so much. Okay. I don't, I understand it's something that's enjoyable for a lot of people. And I've got nothing against it per se. Okay. The only thing for me is in like the competition sports, because of what I went through growing up, as in at 12 years old, tore my leg apart. I lost all that competition side of things. It just went the way of the dodo bird. So I just don't deal with it all. I don't worry about it that much. Because from my standpoint, it's a great. Yeah, Derek's just going, I'm not a big hockey fan either. I just know my about sports, but I just know about sports. My brain is like a sponge when it comes to sports. Mine is like a sieve. I mean, that's just the reality of it. And I'm not overly concerned about it. But Derek, I do have to say thank you again. When you brought to my attention the fact that Dave had to put 2 of his pups down, I did phone him after the show last night to offer my condolences directly. But now it's a question of let's find a way to celebrate success. Okay. Oh yeah, you're heading into winter, aren't you, Ozzy? We're heading into summer. I'm still sitting right now. Where am I? Just checking the temperature here at this point. There we are. We are still at 26 Celsius, which is in the high 80s. Yep. And therefore, guys, if Aussie's shortest day is in about 2 weeks, our longest day is also in about 2 weeks. You know, the neat part about it is we've got a choice. Okay. Yeah, the week for Dave has skipped. The week for Dave has just been insane. Okay. You know, and I do feel for him. Everybody goes through rough runs on occasion. Myself, I've lost a lot of people close to me. Oh, Joe, I really do appreciate that. You know, because I will tell you, you've come up with some phenomenal questions. Not a problem there, Joe. I'm glad to help. Just seeing if I've got anything sorted around. Oh, yeah. Went and printed this neat little sheet out so I can actually keep it handy. This little sheet, that's got all of the books that I've actually written with their prices. So I can take a look at it when I require it without having to go search for it anymore. Nina, that's that new sign they tried shifting into gear. And I will tell you this, I totally ignore it. Okay, I have no idea why they tried adding an extra sign. And the reason I have a problem with it is not because I don't like change, but because what I've come to understand is first and foremost, you add that 13th sign, and now everything that you know, everything that has been taught, now has to be redeveloped. Okay, but the reality of the zodiac, okay, is that if it is not, you have to have for a zodiac, for the, how do I put this? In order for a system to work, it has to have a balance point. You've got to be able to split it into preferably 2, but it's got to split into 3 different venues. Okay, and astrology splits it into 4 to start with. But when you're using the house system, they've already screwed up on the 12th house. You know, the reality. What have we got? Oh, Derek, I think that is an excellent option, and I do think that we will deal with that. And rest assured, Joe, if you come up with an idea, like I've always said, if you guys come up with ideas that you would like as far as the topic goes, absolutely let me know. And what I will do is put them in order. If for whatever reason I end up missing a day, I will simply shift everything down 1. Okay. That being said, okay, where are we? Family. I have to look at what today is. What is today? Today is the 13th, so we look at the 14th, which is let us discuss family, how to make the most of it. And do understand, guys, just real briefly, family is not always bloodline, but I will explain that tomorrow. Okay. I have no doubt that, here's the thing with astrology. I've got a very different perspective on it, although I will tell you, the interpretation that everybody's been using for the different signs, for the different houses, I have no problem with. What I have a problem with is their calculations. Okay, and I will go into that at a future date. Just not this one. Okay, these are some, because there are flaws in almost every tool that I've seen. And like I said, this is my observation. It's not a question of me making, of me saying, look, I'm absolutely right. It is simply a case of this is what I found works. It's like Pythagorean numerology. Okay, Pythagorean numerology, what most of you guys follow, use the numbers from 1 to 9 and then start over. I use 1 to 12. Okay, most people that work with chakras work with 7 chakras. The really advanced ones tend to work with 9. I work with 27. And I'm talking major chakras, not all of which are inside the human body. Okay, these are just things that I have found work really well. And I keep getting asked, how can I function like that when it goes against everybody's training? Well, I was never trained. Well, astrology, I actually was trained. Okay, but psychometry, mediumship, chakra work and the extended healing or rapid healing, if you will, numerology, I learned those by essentially exploration and trial and error. Okay. Now, I'm at a loss on this one. Skip to my loo. Skip to my loo. One question for you. What, pray tell, is DK? If you don't mind my asking. Or is that Denmark? Yeah, that would be Denmark. I think, maybe. The neat little part about the world is this. We can concentrate on what's wrong. We absolutely can. Okay, but I would rather focus on what's right. And one of the things I have found is extremely right, especially in this chat room, is the amount of support I see going from one person to the next. Okay, it is absolutely phenomenal in my eyes, and it does show that it is possible for people from every walk of life to get along and to actually support each other. This is one of the reasons I keep doing what I'm doing. Okay. The fact of the matter is, I simply look at the world in a different fashion. But this doesn't mean it's the only way to look at it doesn't mean that it's the only way to look at the world. It's just my way. Okay. And then the nice part about it, where are we here? Whoops. I forgot to write that down. Just adding one thing to this card that I sort of have to have in order to keep my database up to date. By the way, guys, if you would be so kind, if you do refer somebody, okay, well, where are we? Yeah, well, here's the thing. There's no question there, Nina. 3, even in what I call base 12. 3 is the number of communication, 6 the number of community, and 9 is the number of discrimination. Thing is, I work with 12 numbers. Okay, 10, 11, and 12 are calculated as single digit numbers. It's a lot more mathematically heavily intense, but creates a much different outlook. Okay, now what do we got here? That is... Okay, that's that one dealt with. And this one here. This is what is called putting things in perspective at the same, in order to make things happen. Yes, I get sidetracked doing it. Where are we here? Hey, Ken, how you doing? Ken's phone just came back on. See, the need, I'm not quite, don't know if that was a typo or not, but what you typed there, Skip to Malou, was espolism, which I suppose is probably symbolism, is what energy you put in it. Absolutely. Okay, I absolutely agree with you wholeheartedly there. It also falls into balance with karmic law, which goes energy out, energy in. What you focus on is what you're stacking the deck in favor of getting back. Okay. Now, that goes. Okay, that goes over there. And we are just filling out this card that I have to do in order to make certain that everything is running right. Because I am not about to make the same mistake that I've done way too often. But, again, however you got to where you are, this is the issue of a very simple situation. However you got to where you are here, right now. You cannot alter anything you've done in the past. You can certainly change the way you're looking at it. Okay. Cordon's going, phones are on. Phones are on, Keith, on TV. One day I may well end up on TV. Well, actually, it should have come out in March, I thought. But I was on and I didn't get the word for it as to when. But I was at one point supposed to be on a documentary. Now, whether it ever showed or not, I didn't get word. And since I don't have cable, I didn't watch any of it. But maybe I did show up there. I don't know for certain. But I found it funny when I was actually doing the live interview. They told me I had to sit still, because it had to look professional. Do I look like the kind of guy that worries about whether I'm absolutely on the spot? Like I'm absolutely worried about, do I look perfect? Sure hope not, because if this is your idea of perfect, you may have a bit of a different skew on things. Okay. I look at the world going this. Be the best person you can be. See, most people that have a smart TV turn me off. But anyway, no, that's not quite entirely true. From my standpoint, I look at it going, I'm not perfect. This is one of the reasons why I refuse to edit any of the work I'm doing, any of the live streams. If you hear a hiccup, if you see something that collapses, so be it. It's part of life. This is why when my phone rings, sometimes I'll say, look, I got to deal with this, or I'll pick it up and take it out of the room. Okay, because life does happen. Okay, life will happen, and there's not a whole lot you can do about some of it. So I mean, from my standpoint, I just look at it this way. There's a lot of things out there. You all have a goal. Okay. Myself, it's real simple. I've got 23 books. Well, I've got 8 in 23. I've got 31 more that I already know I'm aiming at writing. Okay. And I've got 23 I'm simultaneously doing, 8 in print. Well, in 2 days, 8 will be in print. Okay. And I've got 8 more in queue already. Now, I think that's the information that we don't really require, but what the heck? Again, it is life. Okay. And I mean, I've heard some pretty bizarre things happen online. But I will tell you, when I look on the social media channels, when they turn around, when somebody says, they put a post, here's a bunch of pictures of fails, of wardrobe fails that these people don't want you to see. Those particular headlines, I never look at. Okay, because it's right in the title. These people do not desire you to see this. Therefore, if this happened to you, would you desire other people to see it? You know, from my standpoint, it's real simple. Okay, I only follow 3 laws. Be true to yourself first. Do unto others as you desire them to do unto you. And energy out, energy in. Okay. And the reason for that is if you take a look at all the laws and all the guidelines you personally follow, compare them to those 3. And I'm almost certain, I'm almost certain that you will find every law that you follow or every guideline is actually containable in those 3. Okay. Um yeah. Derek's just saying, yeah, I have no idea who you're referring to there, Derek. You know, Derek's just saying that's why I thought that you had a tube name. Okay. Now the neat part about it from my standpoint, the neat part about the world and the state it currently is in. Oh, Dave has some interesting habits. But the world that we're in right now, that so many people are looking at it going, oh, we're going into a famine, we're going into the end days. The end of days is now, and here's why. Okay, it doesn't mean our civilization is doomed to collapse. It does mean that everything up to this point in time has happened. You cannot change it. What you can change is the outcomes we're heading towards. Okay. Gotta ask you, Skip to my Lou. Okay. You say you're trying to write. Curiosity, but what genre do you write in? What do we got? Oh, okay. For me, I actually write in six genres, which is one of the reasons why I'm writing 23 books at once. But those being science fiction, science fantasy, reference, self help, children's, and poetry. Okay, I don't write suspense, I don't write adult, and I don't write horror. This doesn't mean I see anything wrong with them. I just don't write in them. See, I find the ones under the ocean are entertaining as well. But, something that I do find is that societies around the world. Yeah, Skip to my lose going biography, not normal life here. When somebody can explain to me what normal is, I'll figure, I'll sort of take to that one. But here's what I found. People keep talking to me about you gotta think outside the box. I'm still striving to figure out where the box is. Okay, I've yet to find the thing. Yeah, what do we got here? And there we go. And that brings my database up to snuff. Perfect. Yep, there it is. So we take a look at where your life is now. Skip to my Lou. Okay, you're writing a biography. It doesn't have to be normal. That's the neat part about it. I will tell you, you're likely to find it easier to write it in bits and pieces instead of worrying about trying to get it all in the order it happened in. I'm not into. I take it that Cosmic Wildman is actually on Dave's show, because I haven't been like in his chat room. I haven't actually seen. I don't recognize the name myself, which doesn't mean much. I don't recognize my own shadow half the time. What do we got here? That should be Echo Alpha. Then we have Foxtrot Alpha. And we have, where is this? There we go. Gopher Alpha. Neat part about this database that I've got is that I actually have it laid out where I will not run out of tracking numbers. It's just not going to happen. Because I did discover with the formula that I'm using, there is no way for it to run out. Nathan, how you doing? Glad to see you. Glad to see you could join us. And where are we here? The other screen. That one. And Nathan. There we are. That did not work that well. And we copy that, and this is the link to Nathan's show. And again, when you get a chance now, you'll notice with Nathan's show, I've actually included the time. And Nathan, I'm going to ask you to do me a really big favor while you're in the room here. Okay. And that is on Saturday when you're supposed to come in, when you're going online, do me a favor and drop me a line. Like, remind me. I'd love to come back on your show. You've invited me a number of times. Only I keep forgetting about it because I've got a memory that's like that long, which is really funny when you think of the number of books I'm writing. Okay. Oh, there you go. Derek's just going, we're under a severe thunderstorm warning down in Northeast Florida. That'd be appreciated, Nathan. The neat little part about life is this. You can look at the negative side or you can look at the positive. Okay. I'm looking at it right now going, okay, we've got a world that has to change. It's the one constant in the universe. The thing that people don't realize is you yourself can be that change. This is why when I decided a few weeks ago, I'm pushing my business. I'm going to make it grow. All of a sudden, I'm starting to move books. I'm starting to move them before I get them written. And here's a heads up for you. This is what's called a spoiler. The next self-help book I'm in the middle of writing is believe in your job and follow your dreams. Okay, again, it will be a short, to the point book. Okay, I do believe, and let's just see if I have that. Let us take a look. Not that one. That one, I think. Nope, that is wrong. YouTube video. Okay. How about if we open that and see if we've got it here? Nope, don't have it handy, so I'm not going to worry about it. Sure, I'm pulling an absolute blank here. Anyway, let's not get ourselves sidetracked looking for stuff on a computer that doesn't cooperate. What do we got here? The thing we have to look at is take a look at where your life is. Are you connecting with the people nearest you? And I'll tell you why I asked that. We talk about the rising crime rates. Well, what I've discovered over the centuries is this. The more you know the more you know of your neighbors, the more you can connect with your neighbors, the safer that neighborhood becomes on the whole. Now, yes, there are neighborhoods where everything is so sour that it really is rough to turn it around. It's not necessarily easy. Yeah, if I could think that far ahead, it'd work great. Usually I'm like 20 minutes before the show going, wait a minute, we're at 4 o'clock. I got to get ready to go. Fortunately, I figured out how to get set up in a hurry. Okay. But the nice part about it, and I still haven't talked to anybody about it. I got to do it one day. Okay. What did we get here? No. Yeah, well, this is probably a good thing that you get it set up the night before. Because I've got everything set up on, like I've got, for instance, the write up on what I've got under the show, right? Aside from the topic, in this case, I've actually got a topic because, as requested, tomorrow we are going to be talking about family and how to make a real solid family connection. Now, am I in a perfect family situation? Absolutely not. Okay. And this is why I say, when I talk about things that I'm working with, they're working for me. You're going to have to do your own research. You're going to have to look at it and go, have I done that before? If the answer is yes, or if it doesn't apply to you, don't use it. Okay. But if the answer is you haven't given and looked at it that way before, it may be wise to consider it. That's the nice part about it. Okay, is you have the option when you're looking at the world. Are you looking at the bright side of it? Okay, or are you looking at the negative side? Now, do I believe that we have a housing shortage? No. Okay, well, not exactly. What we've got is an overpriced housing accommodation problem. As in, the people that have the money have priced the cost of living so high that the people working in regular jobs just simply cannot afford it. Okay, this is why about 3 years ago, while inflation was going on, I suddenly took my consulting fees and shared them in half. Not because I felt I wasn't valuable, but because I figured I don't have to make $180 off of one person in 1 hour. Okay, I can help two people at $90 an hour and make a better return for them and for the world. Because the people that require the assistance are not the ones that, well, actually, some of the people that require assistance. Oh, Derek, fire away. Okay, Derek's gone. My son wants to ask everyone a question. Pop it up and we'll see what we can do about answering it. Yeah. Yeah. Needless, you notice all of a sudden the whole place went quiet. There we go. Oh, Derek, the answer is yes. Okay. Um, whoa. Yes doesn't quite work. Derek asked, who are all the Tyrannosaurus rexes? First of all, the T Rex okay, is still alive and well. Okay, some of them in what you call inner Earth. Some of the T-Rexes became, as Ozzy's just pointed out, they evolved into chickens. But let me pull up a book here. Where are we? I've got to minimize this to find it. Apparently, got to minimize more than that. Race of the Worlds, Part 2. Do that. Grab Part 2. Move it over there. Minimize that. And bring this back up. I'm looking actually for something. But in this case, I actually know where it is. Okay. Let's see. If we go find, open that. There we are. And that doesn't add up to normal, unless that was the... Oh. Okay, well, I guess I'm not going to pull up that information. Not just yet, anyway. But, where are we here? Looking for the piece of information. Unfortunately, it did not. Yeah, that's taken way too long. There is another race that evolved from there. That's the way that went. Where are we here? Oh. I think we missed something here. Oh. Okay, I missed part of the question here, but that's okay. Oh, I bet that's how old your son is. Okay, Emmy, I have a question about T-Rex to what was the reason for those tiny arms. It's not so much what the reason was as why they didn't grow. Okay, ultimately it boiled down to this. Because the head grew faster than the rest of the body, it learned to work around it and found the arms weren't necessary, except for grabbing hold once it leapt up on top of the animal. Okay, and then it was just a case of stopping his face from hitting the floor. But as a weapon goes, those little arms are not exactly useful. Derek, you would be amazed how many kids that age actually claim to be a dinosaur. And the T-Rex is one of the most formidable. It wasn't the biggest, but it was one of the most well-known. You know, if I recall correctly, the Gorgosaurus actually outsized it. Okay. When you take a look at the Allosaurus was a pack hunter. Yeah, Gordana's just going, all you need is one roof, bed, table, chair, and food on the table. Well, you need one bed if we're talking about per person. Okay, but one table can be shared. And no, I realize there are some of you that go, well, we can have two people in a bed. You absolutely can. Okay. You know, what we have to look at You know, what we have to look at is the way the world is seeing right now. Oh, yeah, but Derek's going, the new Jurassic Park has a cool dinosaur with long claws. If that's what I'm thinking of, that was a Gene Splice deal. Okay, and yes, gene splicing has been going on a lot longer than you've been informed. Okay, but what we have to look at is take a look at the way the world is. Okay, what you're doing contributing to the stability, or oh, okay, Derek, that villain dinosaur at the end, I believe that is called a Spinosaurus, which was the descendant of the Dimetrodon, which was the descendant of the Adaphosaurus. Okay, yeah, I mean these are all yes. In case you hadn't noticed, I was studying dinosaurs before I got into kindergarten. I was actually at age 6. I was teaching my younger brother about the life cycles of dinosaurs. Yes, it was. Yeah, Nathan, there's no question there. The villain Dino at the end of the job, the end of the show, was a gene job. It was a vat job. Okay. And I mean, if you're trying to bring, the silly thing is, they're trying, when they were doing Jurassic Park, they hit the nail right on the head. You cannot bring an extinct dinosaur into life and call it that dinosaur if you're splicing it. You know, if you're adding parts of a frog or parts of a chameleon to that genome, it's no longer the original genome. I mean, one of the silliest things I heard was when they decided they were going to start trying to bring back the saber-toothed tiger. Brilliant idea. If you're trying to kill off the locals. That one, in all fairness, Derek, that one you're out of my ballpark. Um, Nathan, just something you might not be aware of. Okay. Nathan's going, I don't think they can exist, as in dinosaurs in this environment now. Not at the size that they were then. No. Okay. Inner Earth, yes, they can exist there. As a matter of fact, they do exist there. But there are dinosaurs that are still alive in minute numbers on the surface. One specifically that I know of, there's two, and there's one you guys all know of. Okay. That being the crocodile and the alligator. They are the same thing, they are the same pattern as they were 70 million years ago. The tuatara is another one, which is just a little lizard. Okay. Then we have the Galapagos tortoise. Okay. And turtles in general are all essentially the same way. Yeah, there was a much higher oxygen supply. Okay. Yeah, Nathan, I don't know which one. I do recall the one you're referring to. To me, it looked like it might be a T Rex. I'm thinking more likely, though, that it's probably an Allosaurus. Okay. I saw a picture the other day. That showed it, and I suspect personally that it was probably a photo job. I shot on Photoshop. I saw a clear picture of a pteranodon. Now, I am not a photo analyst. Okay. All I can tell you is what I see. Okay. I don't know if it's being photoshopped or not. I don't know enough about the industry. I do know whether or not something represents a viable. Okay, that said, I am firmly convinced that the Ogopogo and the Loch Ness Monster are both actual dinosaurs. The Ogopogo being a long-necked plesiosaur, the Loch Ness Monster being either a short-necked plesiosaur, or it might be an elasmosaur. But the reality is, I don't recall the size of the head of it. The primary reason, and I'm actually covering this in the newsletter, by the way, the primary reason that the off-worlders are here is because society has reached a point in their evolution where we are either going to move into the next section when we're going to find peace, or we're going to blow ourselves back to the Stone Age and beyond. Now, here's the neat little thing. Okay, the easiest way to put it is their primary drive here is from a xeno-socioeconomic standpoint. This is an extremely exciting time in this civilization's evolution. Okay, that's their primary reason for being here. The primary reason, therefore, for abducting many different people. From the Zeta Reticulum standpoint, hybridization. They are growing cultural interpreters. From many of the others, it's simply an evolutionary experiment. Let's see how far these genomes have evolved. Let's see how well they interact. Okay. Somebody probably does. I'm not the one to ask there. Skip the Malou goes filtering. Do we know anyone to help unfilter a video? Okay. Now, Derek, where it comes to, yeah, the alien with the tail, the one, if we're referring to the one in the Congo there, okay, both the T-Rex and obviously the Allosaur had a tail, and for that matter, still have. Most of the reptilians that are out there, most of the reptilian-like races, have a tail, as do most of the feline ones. Many of the pteranodromes, depending on the animal they are evolved from, or that they appear to be like, many of them have tails. Oh, my apologies. I missed one here. Derek, the question you asked was actually, what aliens have a tail that are 8 to 10 feet tall? Okay. Your Sarkon, your Tormenon, the larger of the Kamalians, and the larger of the Strazazians all have tails. Okay. But most of them have a tail based on it being a balance point. Very few of them actually have a weaponized tail. Okay. The Teklek are not 8 to 10 feet tall. They're only about 3.5 at the shoulder, but about 5 feet tip to toe. Okay. Like nose to tail. They've got a tail. Again, it's a balance thing. Now, the reality of that one, Derek, I didn't see the video of the New Vegas alien thing. I do know there is a solid picture in the New York subs that exists, a solid video that shows a very clear Teklek. Actually, it's a pair of them running through the sewers. Okay. So, when you're looking at that, quite often they develop a tail. People look at the bipedal thing, and I will tell you this. A bipedal configuration is absolutely... How we doing, football? Glad to see you could join us. Many of the races that are that tall, we talk about the bipedal race, and that's how most people see aliens. Not all aliens are bipedal. Okay, actually the ratios are pretty limited. Okay, but when we take a look at this, and I mean, we've gone way sideways, which is really normal. Okay, because I go, Here's where I'm starting, and then we see where it goes. Again, this boils down to take a look at the evidence. Don't just take my word for it, whatever you do. Okay. Will I stick to the same information until I am proven otherwise? Absolutely. Okay. Once something is corrected, if I know what is going, if I know something has been misreported, even if it's on my part, I will quite readily alter what I'm looking at. Okay, that's just because I've always said I am not perfect by any means. Now, where are we here? Now I'm going to reiterate this. If you like the stream, do me a favor. Hey world, how you doing? Glad you could join us. Do me a favor. If you like the stream, give us a thumbs up. Do subscribe to the channel and share the daylights out of it. And we have to find something here. I am looking for video. World. There we go. And this is the link to World's channel. So absolutely drop in, give him a listen. If you like what he does, what he's saying, absolutely subscribe to his channel, give him a thumbs up, and share the daylights out of things. Now, what did my computer just do? Well, that was different. The neat part about things, okay, is this. Now, people have asked me before about my putting a buy me a coffee on here. I haven't. I keep bypassing the issue, primarily because I end up with way too many things on the go. Dogface, how you doing? Glad you could join us. This said, I haven't managed to figure out the buy me a coffee thing. But if you're one of these people that was interested, this is the email that usually works. Now, it works direct line, and I realize there's been this neat little hiccup with you, Derek, but that's the email that should work direct line to get right to me. It's also the email I use for PayPal. And I know the one for PayPal works because I just ended up selling a book the other day through it. Okay. Now, unfortunately, I was supposed to get it out yesterday. One thing has led to another. It's sitting here ready to go. And therefore, let me just see what I did with it. I'm going to hurt myself if I do that wrong. I'm going to have to track it down, but well, I will tell you this, Skip to Merlou. That will probably wake him up. Whatever you do. Yeah, here's all kinds of ways of waking people up. See, in my case, all somebody would have to do is pour ice cold water on me. That won't wake me up, by the way, but it will likely stop my heart. I have no problem with that at all, world. I actually just figured out. I was sitting down with my executive assistant today, and we worked out a formula that works like an absolute. It works like an absolute charm. Okay, and I will tell you this: I am not the one to tell you, "Oh, this book's no good." I mean, let's face it. I told you guys before about the gentleman the individual, I don't know what his name was, but he took a white canvas, okay, painted it off white, put baseboard and baseboard style wood around it to create a frame, called it whiteout, and sold the thing for $1 million. Okay. Now, I mean, from that standpoint, it's absolutely bizarre. Yeah, is that actually possible? 259. Yep, that would be right. No, dogs are 7 years. Just to be clear, dog years are 7 years to the human year. Making, let's see, making 259 translate to 37. Okay. In the basic translation from what. Yeah, I gotta look into that because I honestly don't know the issue on cat years. I can tell you this: when they talk about living on borrowed time, I know for an absolute certainty I'm living on way different than borrowed time. They flat out told, thanks world. World is just reporting the cats are 8 years to the year. Okay. I know from my standpoint the doctors clocked me out permanently when I was 5. So I'm looking at 55 years later, and I'm 55 years after death. So I will tell you this, in answer to your guys' question that some people have asked in the past, what's life like after death? Pretty much the same boring routine you run into here. We still get up in the morning, still put our pants on one leg at a time, still wander around in the dark until we figure out where the light switch is, which I've always got a kick out of that in the Bible. In the Bible, it tells you on the first day, God made light. He separated the light from the darkness and there was light. On the second day, he made the stars. So where did he get the light from? Just a thought. But at this point, I'm looking at it now and I just finally figured out how to make things happen. Yeah, we could go into a really, really dangerous conversation there and get myself into all kinds of trouble, so I'm not going to do that. But I will tell you this. One of the things I discovered was this. If I can find a way to help you guys come out of this stream feeling energized, feeling like you've got something you can produce, like you've got some way to change your life for what you consider the better, then I'm doing my self-appointed job right. I don't know if I want to call that self-appointed. The first time I died when I was born, I got told by the Council of 12, you've got a job to do. You've got to go back and do it. Gordana, that depends on where you go to. I know some morticians that'll tell you yes, or more to the point I know of. But that's a little bit of a twisted outlook. But the reality is, the reality of it is there that kind of interaction after death? Yes, but it's not done the same way because the corporeal body is built different than the spiritual one. Okay, it's kind of an interesting setup. You do remember in that world that actual dogs actually don't believe in the dog leash? At least not most of them. Mind you, I was actually told by a real nasty demon that I was to fear him. He told me who he was. He goes, "You will fear me." I looked at him and I went, "After lunch." So he repeated himself. I looked at him and I said, "We covered that already. After lunch." And for some reason, he got really agitated and really frustrated with the idea. Derek goes, in the afterlife, it's like Helen Keller. One to do it and one to moan. And we're just not going to go down that road any further. No, the thing is, once you pass away, there are all kinds of things that you get access to, all kinds of new understandings, not the least of which, and there are many of you that will argue this point while you're alive and then figure it out later. Okay, but I will tell you this. When you die, depending on what you see as your own reality, will put you in heaven, in hell, in a coffin, in a hole in the ground, until you figure out that you're not stuck there. Okay. Eternity can be a very short period. In my case, I'm pretty certain that hell has a revolving door now. Chad, how you doing? Glad you could join us. Ultimately, football, yes. You get over there, you get all kinds of knowledge of things that we called unsolved. Okay, that the live considered unsolved mystery. Not the least of which are people like, for instance, who shot JFK? Who actually was Jack the Ripper? Okay. These sorts of things are things that you'll end up coming to understand. Whether it will matter to you or not is another issue altogether. Now, I will tell you the biggest confusion when you get over there is the gala that you walk into. And I know this. Anubis is a wonderful chap. He's just got a little twisted outlook on life. I will tell you this, though, that when you get over there, you will meet, if they're still there, your loved ones, whether they are people, other races, plants, animals, it doesn't matter. You all go to the same place. You'll come to understand this when you get there. Prior to that, you may not agree with it, and that's okay. It's a very simple issue for me. I've got the experience of being there. You hopefully have not had that yet. That's a good way of looking at that. By the way, world, I think I mentioned this yesterday. The D&D game that I play on Sundays. My character is a druid, and because of the call that the game master made, my character can actually become an owlbear. He also has an owlbear for a friend. Which works out really neatly. He wasn't a cheat. That's not cheating. The game master, what he did was said, "Look, I know the owlbear was made by magic centuries before, but he says I'm calling it a natural animal now." Okay, that was his rule, not mine. Oh, okay. The neat part about it. Yeah, Skip My Blues going. It's a weird time these days. Texted old help on its way. I hope Dave knows it all. I gotta ask football. I've really got to ask you one itty bitty question. That question you've got there, is this your first life as a Canadian? I'm presuming you're referring to, is it mine? And if that's the case, the answer is yes. Okay. Yeah, okay, that it is. In 1760, I was living in southern Louisiana, I was running three plantations with a very different take on slavery. In 1928, I was living in Chicago, working for the American military. In 1828, I was living on the northwestern shore of Ireland. And then if we go back into, I think 1300-ish, I was living in England. Okay. I was living in England as a coroner during the Black Death. I think that was in the 1300s, come to think of it. Okay. During the run of Attila the Hun, I ran with him. I was actually captured with him. I was in Lemuria. That was 40,000 years ago. I'm glad you can. You know, the funny thing there, world, I was told when I met this one chap, and he looks at me and he goes, "Oh, you're a Scotty laddie," which I am 2 generations back. Okay. At the time, way back during, like, I lived as a Druid for the longest time. You know, I was in Pompeii. Actually, when Pompeii went under, I was actually outside of Pompeii. I was there when Manoah was swept into the ocean. I was there during the Exodus from Egypt. You know, these are all things that I recall that I've documented in my own paperwork. And it's funny you should mention Chicago being a gangster. When I was in Chicago, I was one violent SOB. You know, and by 16, I was in jail. And I told them, do not put me in jail. You don't want me in there with those guys. Right? You know, we were, you know, I told them, don't put me in there with them. And they're like, you are a violent kid. You're going in there. The next morning, I was put in with seven criminals. The next morning, when they came back to fish us out, I was the only one standing there. Okay. Yeah, that freedom issue. I did not run. I did not run with William Wallace, but I did know of him. Okay, I was doing my own thing at that point. Yeah, I've got, you know, I know people that will do the same thing with just about any language, you know, any accent. They all of a sudden pick it up. You know, the neat part about it, when I take a look at the past lives I've got, and one day maybe I'll get into some of them. Okay. But I remember things. I don't research the past. Okay. I just simply remember it. Now, with that in mind, guys, we are hitting the 2-hour mark. So I really want to say thank you so much for sharing your time with me. I really do appreciate it. I will be back again tomorrow. But until then, do take care of yourselves and each other. And for pity's sakes, stay positive.